So, hello. I figured I would do this video. Probably should have done it during Mental Health Month. That probably would have been the time to do it. But unfortunately, at that time, that was also when I was having a lot of issues with my teeth, which actually ties into mental health because I've never had good teeth. I didn't have as a teenager and a child, I didn't have terrible teeth as far as, them being crooked or anything, but they were always weak, and I've always been self-conscious about them. Um, I think I mentioned this in a video a long, long time ago. I was actually born with 2 teeth, and I don't know why the dentist when I was a kid always said that one of the teeth that I was born with, I always just called it my ugly tooth. It was smaller than the rest and kind of pitted and a yellow color. That one is actually an implant on me now. It's probably the only good tooth in my head because it's not real. Um, but he always told me, and I don't know if this is true or not, that it was because my mom took penicillin while she was pregnant. Probably not true. I mean, this was back in the 70s and early 80s, so who knows? I'm sure that that was just something that they told you back then, or they told me back then, or something. So yeah, always had bad teeth, but as a kid, I mean, my dad, I always thought we were poor growing up. I think, I found out much later that we were actually middle class to upper middle class, but I never knew that because I was a kid. Um, but yeah, my dad had a good job and good insurance, so, you know, until I turned 18, dentist every 6 months, got whatever needed to be done. Did have to have some fillings and stuff as a kid because even then my teeth were already iffy. They were never the strongest, and, yeah, but until I was 18, did pretty good. Got my wisdom teeth out, thankfully, before I left home, so that part was all good, and I was able to coast for a few years. When I was in the army, they obviously take care of your teeth and, didn't really think about them. After I left the army and after my late husband died, I was able to, since my late husband was medically retired from the army, I was able to keep medical care, but TRICARE doesn't cover dental. So that was when the issues that I had with my teeth began accelerating. And I just always kicked the can down the road. So I guess in that, the mess I'm in now is partially my fault. I mean, partially genetics, partially my fault. And so I would only go to the dentist when something became severe enough to hurt because I didn't have dental insurance, and dentists are they're expensive. So usually what ended up happening was I would go into the dentist, they would usually tell me that it was past the point of a filling, and I would just get the tooth pulled. So as the years went on, I lost more and more teeth until last year I got my upper teeth are actually they're not good, but they're better than my bottom teeth were. But last year I started having a toothache and I went to the dentist in the town closest to me, intending to start this process that I am actually starting, well, completing now. And I went in and I got the tooth pulled. And after I got the tooth that was hurting pulled, I realized that things were getting dire because now I only had one molar left on the bottom. And it's really hard to eat all of the things that are good when you only have one molar on the bottom to chew with. So I was like, all right, well, this guy pulled my tooth. He was my dad's dentist because where I live now is, where my dad lived. I was like, I'll just go back to him and I will see what's happening. But I didn't go back right away because I also have a fear of dentists. I'm not fond of pain, who is? And I'm also not fond of the judgment that you get because a lot of people's self-image, mine included, is wrapped up in teeth. And wrapped up in that's the first impression that people make. So through the years, I actually just got better and better at not moving my lips enough to let everyone see my teeth while I'm talking. COVID was a boon for me. I liked wearing that mask, not gonna lie. But yeah, I kicked the can down the road a little bit, but I was planning on going back to see this dentist. And it was probably a month after the tooth that he had pulled healed up that my last molar on the bottom jaw broke. And it didn't break completely, but it broke enough that it was noticeable to me. Obviously, not to anybody else because nobody looks at your molars, hopefully. And I went back to him, and he is probably a wonderful dentist. I am not going to say his name. He is probably great. This is probably a me thing, a my self-esteem thing, but I felt very condescended to. And I left the office feeling like I didn't want to go back. So I kicked that can further down the road. I said, it's not hurting. I can still eat. Yes, I am very worried that there's only half a molar back there, but it doesn't hurt. I'll do something about it later. Later has been my mantra for years. Well, a couple weeks ago, later came back to bite me in the butt with a vengeance because the half of a molar that I knew was going to be a problem eventually started to hurt. And it started to really hurt. Like if somebody had asked me, at least during part of it, during the initial phase of pain, what was your pain on a scale of 1 to 10? I would have said it was about a 1,199 million out of 10. It was very painful, but it came in waves, and by alternating Tylenol and Motrin, I was able to keep on top of it, keep doing my videos, keep pushing, and I started looking for a dentist. Because I knew I didn't want to go back to the one that was in the town closest to me. But I was also stressing because just the tooth that the dentist in town pulled, just pulling that one tooth was $600. That's a chunk of change out of pocket, and I was like, this sucks. So I was looking into trying to find low-cost dental, sliding scale dental, anything along those lines. And I was talking in a chat of a YouTube channel that I watch, who I love, Smokey Steve and Mark, and somebody mentioned something that they used called Carrington. It's not dental insurance, it's a dental savings plan. This is not an endorsement. I'll let you know later, but they do seem worth it. So this is not like sponsored or anything. This is not an endorsement of them. They could turn out to be a nightmare later, but we'll see. So after I looked into it a bunch and thought about it more and sat with the throbbing in my face, I was like, okay, fine, I'll do this Carrington thing. But at the same time, the pain was starting to subside. I knew that that was a false thing. I knew that this was something I had to deal with this year. So I signed up for the Carrington, and the nice thing about them is, like, 3 days after I signed up and paid for the year, which isn't too bad, it was like $140, I was covered. So then it was finding a dentist that, participates in the Carrington thing, and I did find a dentist. None near me, and not surprisingly, the dentist in the town closest to me that I didn't want to go back to anyway is not a participant in any health savings plans. He only takes insurance, as far as I can tell. But I found a dentist, and I went in. I let them know that I was very scared, and I knew that my teeth were bad, and please, the only thing I was asking was not to be made to feel like scum. And I went in, and they were actually really nice. The dentist that I am seeing seems, knocking on wood, seems to be amazing. He did not make me feel like I was some sort of scum bucket, because I told him this is not lack of dental hygiene. This is lack of dental money to pay for it. And he did give me some interesting news because, like I said, the pain had already begun to subside by then. I hadn't had any pain that was what I considered severe in like a week. In fact, if you would have asked me the day that I went in to see the dentist what level my pain was at, I would have said like a 2. Like, nothing big, although at this point, honestly, I don't think I've had a day when I wasn't very aware of pain in my mouth in probably years. So I'm probably just used to it at this point. But I was hoping to just get this tooth pulled. As you know, if you listen to my reading videos, I I was planning on having it pulled. I recorded a little bit in advance because I knew that I was already having so much brain fog just from the pain and everything that I just wanted a couple of days to just chill after getting what I thought was going to be a tooth pulled. Well, according to the dentist, I guess I've got a really high pain tolerance now from living with this for so many years, because he said he didn't say a number exactly, but he said I had a bunch of abscesses. And, I've had an abscess, a dental abscess before, and I don't know how I could have several abscesses and still be functioning, but it is what it is. So he put me on antibiotics, and then he sat down and told me that my teeth were not really salvageable, at least not in an ethical way. He said because he is an oral surgeon, could he do a bunch of work on the teeth that I actually have? Probably. Would it be worth it? No. So, he basically laid out my options, and my options are pretty much dentures. Um, I wish that I could afford the really fancy snap-in, like, implant dentures. Can't afford those. I'm going with dentures. I'm scared. I kind of feel like a failure, even though even this dentist, he was like, "You're not a failure." He's like, "I can tell that you brush your teeth. Your teeth are clean. I don't have tartar all over them. They're just destroyed." Um, but yeah. So right now I'm on antibiotics. As I'm sure a few of you have known because I've mentioned it in the last couple of videos. I'm feeling better. The antibiotics are not making my stomach feel good, but my face feels much better. Uh, so that's good. Maybe I can eat something other than soup before the next part of this journey. And that's the other thing I was going to talk to you about because, I'm probably going to document it if anybody is interested, if anybody else is facing something like this. The cost is high. Um, I did with the Carrington savings thing, the lady showed me, it actually did save me about half of what this would cost me. But it's really high. I'm financing it. I mean, do I like the interest rate? No, but I can pay it off ahead of time, and I will try to. But laying down pretty much enough money for a good used car all at once is yeah, I couldn't do that. So I financed it, and not next week, but the week after, I'm going in to get the impressions made for these dentures. It's kind of an interesting thing. I've been doing a lot of Googling because then the middle of July, I think it's July 17th. It's either the 17th or the 13th. It's a Saturday. I'm going into the dentist and getting every tooth in my head pulled out and then immediate dentures put in, which I did find out is actually kind of a good thing because when they put the immediate dentures in, you aren't running the risk of a dry socket because it's kind of like a big band-aid being put on. I guess you leave them in for 24 to 48 hours. I'm sure that the dentist will tell me it's explicitly how long they're supposed to stay in. But so that part's at least kind of good. Um I'm utterly terrified. He's not putting me under, but I am going to, when I go in to get the impressions made, maybe talk about, I'm seeing if one of my neighbors can drive me in for the actual extraction, because I don't think that I'm going to be fit to drive. And if that's the case, I'm going to talk about, I don't know, maybe something to take the edge off. Maybe even just or laughing gas to go with the Novocaine, something, because I'm going to be a wreck. And I did a lot of Googling about what comes after. And evidently, I'm going to have to relearn how to both talk and eat, which sounds horrible. But the dentist, I was actually talking to him a little bit about my YouTube channel. I was like, it's really hard to have a YouTube channel where I sit and face the camera every single day and try to hide my teeth. It's been very hard, and I don't think I could have done it if you guys weren't so amazingly non-judgmental about that. I was so afraid when I started this channel that the minute I started facing the camera with, especially because one of my front teeth is broken and kind of pitted and ugly and blackened at this point, and I was so scared. I was so scared that I was going to get comments in the comments section and I was going to feel like I was back in high school getting teased for the bags under my eyes or living in the wrong part of town but you guys have been great. I You guys really have. And that's kept me on YouTube and kept me doing what I'm doing. So thank you for that. But I was telling the dentist about that and about how I read books out loud sitting in front of a camera. And evidently one of the things that they recommend, not the sitting in front of a camera part, but one of the things they recommend when you get your dentures is to sit and read books out loud to retrain yourself to talk. So you guys are going to be helping me do that after I get these new teeth put in. And that's kind of cool. I hope that you forgive me for any blah, 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 blah as I'm talking. I'm hoping it won't be that bad. And when the time comes, I'm going to do my best to have at least a week's worth of videos, maybe a little bit longer, pre-recorded, so that I can just take the time to be in pain, because I was going on Reddit and it sounds like the first week is going to be not fun. It sounds like it's going to be painful. Everybody's pain tolerance is different. I'm hoping that it won't be that bad, but it could be. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, that is my update. We'll see. Maybe I'll take you with me for these impressions being made. Maybe I'll just report back about it. I know that I will keep you updated as this goes on. In case anybody is facing something like this, know that kicking the can down the road doesn't seem to work. I'll also let you know more about this. If I get any surprise bills where it turns out that this Carrington thing doesn't actually work, I'll be the first one to let you know, because I'll be very mad. Um, but if it does work, and that is something that maybe you don't have dental coverage either, I didn't know anything about this until somebody in Smoky Steve and Mark mentioned it in a live that I was chatting in, and I started looking it up. So if you need dental as well, it's not insurance, but it does seem to be taken by a lot of places. I don't know, we'll find out. But yeah, thank you guys for always being so kind. I don't know what I ever did to deserve such amazing subscribers, but you guys have always been the best, so thank you. Patience as I go through this. My World of Warcraft and Sims people, I'm gonna keep trying. It's just I've had a lot of mental fog, so pushing out the stuff that has to be highly edited has been hard. I've been doing a lot of stuff that just takes very little mental energy, like playing solitaire and sleeping. Been trying to sleep. It's hard to sleep when pain from your teeth wakes you up. But I'm hoping that as the pain will be cleared up and the abscesses will be gone, again, knocking on wood, crossing my fingers, that I can get a lot of stuff pre-recorded before this whole big full mouth extraction stuff. Anyway, that is what is going on. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being patient with me, and I'll see you later.